Hey there, RevRender Garage fans. It's Sean again, and today we are going to be doing a handlebar swap. Handlebar swaps may seem easy, but there are a couple little tricks and tips that will help you get through it a lot better. I'm going to be working on our new project scooter, which is a Honda Ruckus, a 2012, and it's got the stock grips, stock everything. I'll show you what we're going to be working on, and then we'll get to tearing it apart. Here is the scooter we are going to be working on today. You can see these bars are the stock ones. They're, for the most part, just a straight shot all the way through with a slight bend. And just for curiosity's sake, I'm going to pull down a pair of stock Mad Dog bars. Okay. Yeah, you can see Mad Dog bars are just a little bit longer and they have more of a bend to them. Very close, but not quite the same. We're going to take the mirrors off, take the grips off, take the brake assemblies off, this little tachometer thingy. And then here, we're going to take the bar mounts off of this, and then we're going to remove the headstock with that bolt right there. At that point, we'll have everything apart. I am going to powder coat everything on these bars, get everything looking really sweet. Then we'll reassemble it and take a look at how it works. So I've got new hand grips coming, and I've got new mirrors coming because I'm not going to mount the mirrors here. I'm going to mount them grip mirrors right off the side here. Here we go. All right, let's get to tearing these handlebars off. For this, we are going to use a little bit of brake clean, Phillips screwdriver, a pair of flush cutters, very small regular screwdrivers. Something like this should work just fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clip off things that have been attached to this. One of them here is this little tachometer. Okay, I'm just removing this phone mount. But let's get these mirrors off. Now that we've got those off, let's take the grips off. And to get the grips off, what we want to do is get this screwdriver in between. This is the throttle side. So you want to get this screwdriver in between grip and the plastic throttle housing on this side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to spray a little brake clean in there, which will lubricate it and allow us to pull that grip off. Just going to slip this in there right where the screwdriver is, and then just spray a little bit and wear eye protection. You don't want to get this stuff in your eye. All right, and do the same thing on the bottom side. See if we can get anything. Bingo, boom, done. We need our Phillips screwdriver. And what we're going to do is we're going to come under both of the brake lever assemblies. The one tip I wanted to give you is don't loosen your handlebars up until you get everything loose on here. And when you go to remove these brake levers, most likely you're going to have to loosen your handlebars because the cables normally aren't long enough to extract it all the way off the end of the handlebar. So we'll undo this bolt. The last thing we're going to need an Allen wrench so we can remove these handlebar mounts. 2, 3, that one wasn't very tight. 4, that one wasn't very tight either. Now I recommend just loosening these up enough, and then once they're loosened up enough, we can slide those handlebars. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slide them towards me. That much more cable that I can play with to slide these off the end. Wow, that is on there. Okay, there we go. And that, folks, is a bar removal. All right, let's get the mounts for the handlebars off. Then let's get the headstock here. This one has bolts that come up underneath and mount into the bottoms of these base ones. Our handy dandy sockets. Bam, first try. Now, there we go. I'll tell you, these are a lot easier to get off on the Mad Dogs. We have got that out. There's our headstock, and you can see the bolts that are holding these top pieces on. So we're going to remove those. Then we can start pulling apart the handbrake assemblies for powder coating. Tear this apart real quick. So just getting these undone. All right, pulling this rubber thing out of the way here. This is the throttle assembly. Now this is where I'm gonna take some pictures of this so that I can understand how it goes back together. But since I'm using it to film, I'm gonna cut you off. I've gotten pictures taken of these. We need to start removing screws that are holding this stuff in. One of the screws right here is actually holding just a little plate that is keeping this wire in place. So let's remove that. Thank you, magnetic tips. Okay, so got that piece out. Put that over here in our little tray. So let's remove the kill switch now. 2 screws here. Come on, screw. Now you can see we have the kill switch completely freed up. So what we're going to be doing to this is powder coating it. Let's take this out This little tiny, it's the end piece that slides in there, and then you just wrap the cable and spin it in like this. We will show you that on reassembly. I just need to get this screw out, and this apparently holds the start button assembly in place. All right, so I'm just going to grab this board here. Okay, so we got the spring and the start button there. I'm going to get this cable out of here. Okay, I'm going to take this screw out right here, which should free up this handle, and that'll make it a lot easier for us. Oh my goodness, that is on there. That means one thing and one thing only. We are going to use an impact. And there you go. There's our shoulder bolt. Bingo. Gotta fold that up there. I'm gonna do a little research on this and we'll figure out how to get these out, because that's the last thing holding this up here. So, all right, I found a video on YouTube didn't really show how to remove these, but what the guy did do is hold it through this. And so that led me to believe that this must come free somehow if you pry on it, or at least it can start to come through this tube. Ah, there you can see it. See, it's starting to come up. Now we should be able to push it from this side. Yep, we need to take our battery box off. That's gonna allow us to get to those plugs, because we're gonna have to de-pin them, pull those wires through. The only reason we're doing this is so we can powder coat this. And you know what? Powder coating is so badass and it looks so killer that I will go through this. There we go. Oh, I see, those are mounted right there. Down. Get our flush cutters in there so we can free these up. We got to remove these 3 bolts, and we should be able to drop this forward, which will gain us visibility into where the brake sensor cord is going down to. All right, so now we need to find where this wire goes to. That's helping a bit. Okay, I have got the wires separated from where their female receptacles are. We've got one here for the 2 greens that will plug back in eventually, and then one here for the black, 2 blacks, one from each side. And there's also just a few empty receptacles. Bring it down here. And now we have completely freed it and we can start pulling it through. Oh, yeah. Let's get the last one out. And then I put the other one right on top of it and push down, and they both come out. Okay, folks, we have completely disassembled everything that we need to do our powder coating now. Just showed up at the doorstep, the new set of handlebars. So why don't we dig in, open it up, and show you what these babies are gonna look like. Dun, 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 dun. Black, 3+ inches up. So I'm very excited about that. So before we reassemble it, we're gonna have everything powder coated and ready to go. And I have separated everything out here. So anything that's in this red bowl needs to be powder coated black. And anything that's in this silver bowl right here needs to be powder coated red. So I've separated all those. This will be powder coated black. These will be red. Hand brakes will be black. Everything else will be red. Going to a lower grit sandpaper. This has got a lot of pock marks in it where the fake chrome has started chipping. We got to get down through those all the way. Otherwise, it's just going to surface in our powder coating. The rest of the stuff, we really just need to kind of surface sand just a little bit to rough it up. So I'll get busy. You guys relax. Okay, I've been cleaning this stuff up. We've already got everything that's supposed to be black powder coated. And this is the one that I was worried about the most because I couldn't get into those grooves that much, but man, this thing turned out killer. What we're gonna do is start powder coating red. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the rest of this stuff down here and I'm going to put it all in the media blaster and get it all cleaned up. All right, we are done with the media blaster for now. We have media blasted all of the main casings for the electronics that go on the handlebars, both sides, and it's a Harbor Freight media blaster cabinet along with a Harbor Freight central pneumatic air compressor to power it. And I'll put those links in the description for you, as well as a link to the handlebars that we're getting, hand grips that we're getting, and the mirrors that we're getting. All right, we got everything powder coated now. We've got the electronic housings, the spring-loaded lock lever, all of our black bolts done, black hand brake, and all the red bolts done, as well as all of our handlebar mounts, the top of the triple tree. Now it's just a matter of getting this stuff hooked up so we can get this bike back together and see how it looks. I have been wiring up the brake light switches to the casings so that our brake lights will work when we pull the trigger. And what it does is it actually releases this little plastic pin when you pull the brake lever, and that closes the connection, which turns the brake light on. So the problem is this plastic pin does not push in or out anymore. It is literally just stuck. So I ordered a couple new ones. They'll be here in a couple days, so I can't actually finish assembling all of this right now, but we're going to keep forging ahead and get this as assembled as we possibly can until we get roadblocked, and then we'll finish the other side of it when the parts come. Before we get back to the assembly, Amazon just stopped by. So the mirrors and the hand grips came, so let's just unwrap those and I'll show you what we got going on here. One of the reasons I really like them is you can remove this entire piece right here, sand this all off, and you can powder coat the back of this. So here's the hand grips we're going to be using. What I like about these is you can remove this piece of aluminum. This end piece comes off, which is where our mirrors are going to connect through the end of the handlebar. Then you can powder coat it. And you know me, I like to powder coat. We have got the hand grips powder coated and done, and you can see them now. Wow, that looks sweet. I'm gonna get this first hand grip installed and wear eye protection. Just keep pushing it. Oh boy. Okay, and we're just gonna try to get some more brake clean up there. Okay. All right. Okay. Get it in there and just rattle it around. Doesn't that look so sweet? Our brake switch back down, all the way down here. So you just stick those bullet connectors in there. So I was telling you about the mirrors, and I wanted to use them on this 2012 Ruckus Project scooter because I love how you can two-tone them. So you can sand down the edges. It leaves this front edge black. Then you can sand down the back of it, and it leaves all of this black for you. So when you powder coat it, it's going to give you a cool red bar right around here. You're going to have kind of a red iridescent glow over the black, and then you're going to get solid red right here, and it's going to look really cool. All right, they are out of the oven and they look amazing. Once we get the tape all off, you'll be able to see that black edge in the front. All right, we were able to get the mirrors reassembled and get them back on the bike. I was able to get the new brake switch cable back into the passenger side brake lever and got that whole side reassembled. So at this point, the handlebars are completely done, and we're going to give it a walk around here so you can see exactly what happened. We've got our mirrors on. Pretty cool with the two-tone. Powder coated all of the electronical casings as well as the handbrakes. The handbrakes are now black. Everything was silver before. We've got the handlebars with 3 to 3.5 inch riser. Also removed was the phone holder. We also removed the tachometer control over here. One of the things that I like to do is I like to powder coat metal zip ties. And so I powder coated these to match the color of the bike that we're going with, and looks pretty slick. I haven't put the front cover on only because I've got plans for de-stickering it and cleaning it up. At this point, handlebars are done. First project on the new project scooter is a win. So I'm going to wrap up the video with that. If you like what you see, please tell all your friends. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us, comment, and until next time, RevRender out.